and I'm going to create a logic app. So business rules test. Get it from these two, which is closest to me. I want consumption based, which is the cheapest one, but it's the older version of it, which is fine. And then we want we can disable some derivatives. This is a test, so we're going to review and create. So I can create that logic app. I'm just adjusting here a little bit my screen. We're just waiting up, review and create. All right, that is so there you go. I'm gonna click on create, so it creates a logic app. So it created the Excel, the logic app. So the trigger is gonna be when an STP request is received, because that's what we want for now. We can also do recurrence, but just for testing, we're gonna do when STP is requested. The body of the schema, I'm gonna use a sample payload. That means that if I write what I'm expecting here, then what I'm expecting as a parameter, then it's going to generate the JSON schema for me. So I'm going to say Excel. I'm just going to call it amount. Time period. And this is just literally dummy names, but they'll correspond to here. Let me actually mark in my Excel. On my Excel file, I'm gonna modify a little bit, so it kind of has those parameters. So it's amount, time period. So those two parameters are going to correspond to those two cells. So we got that, and then we're going to do a new step. I'm going to tell it for the Microsoft Graph. Actually, let's see if they have an Excel. So there are different actions here. Oh, I'm so sorry, you're not seeing the screen. So there you go. So there are different actions for calling an Excel file in my OneDrive. And the one I want is update by smart. Oh, there you go, update a row. Let's see, I wonder if it's the same one now, because it says here display chart, and you use worker functions. That's I wonder if underneath the scenes it does call the MS graph. So that would be a good idea to search. So I'm gonna search logic app, cell, connector, MS graph. Cell, that's a shared cell, drive. Works with Excel faster than OneDrive. It's connected to personal, supports personal, missing accounts. So an Excel file may be locked in OneDrive, but we don't want that. So what we want to do is we're actually going to want to do an MS Graph API call ourselves because it's locking the file. This is going to lock the file. We don't want. So I'm going to see if there's a way to get the Graph API. Oh, we want to set up for the Graph API. So I'm going to do Graph API, and hopefully I can get that, and I don't have it. I don't wonder why. MS Graph groups. And it is extremely interesting that I cannot get a token for my Graph API. You'll think that I could do MS Graph and have a connector here in Logic Apps to be able to very easily do Graph calls, MS Graph calls. Oh, there you go, Microsoft Graph. Nope, that's security. Nope. And that is extremely interesting and frustrating because I definitely wanted to do a graph call. Let me see if I can do Office 365. Nah, I cannot. Maybe graph. Let me search for get graph token. Oops. Get a MS. Because that's the most important thing. Getting the token is the hardest part. From Logic Apps. Get an access token from your Logic App before the Graph API action, add another SP action to get the access token for Microsoft Graph. So they're basically saying that we can get the token via a normal HTTP call. I don't think I want to do that. I don't put my password there. There has to be an easier way to do this. There is no way. And I thought there was a custom Graph API. I always thought there was a custom Graph API. Let me see in here if I can search on the connectors for a graph. Because I definitely have seen something where we can do a free graph API call. Well, these people are basically all asking the same thing, but to make a very generic graph API call in logic apps. Because it might be acquiring the token acquired using the client register flow. Gotta give them the credentials. How? Maybe here. Let's look at that. Using Microsoft Graph in Logic Apps. Let's see what this says. Share ID, Office 360 users. The Share ID connector lets you create a user, but no instrumentation. Workflow can request the graph. I didn't master post or patch. The motorcycle what are high-level steps of setting up Azure AD app and calling it in your Logic app. In order to call the graph, the Logic app needs an Azure AD app registration, which I think and then we add the permissions. Oh, but you still need the client secret. Which is not what I want. That is extremely interesting that I cannot use delegated permissions. Ideally, I will be using delegated permissions, but I don't have it. Huh. Let's see how maybe in the key authorization. Let's see. That seems like it. So this system identity is to give it the identity we want. That's also not what I want. That is very interesting. Let's see. For ideally, you will have, and we'll have to maybe deal later on in another video on how to get the tokens. But we basically need a token for the we basically need a token that authorizes against the Graph API. But from the Logic app have to somehow get that token. But given that it's not like a graphical based process, you have to capture it somehow, some other way. And one way of doing it might be via having another website pop up a notification for the human user and then pass that token to the pass the token straight to the Logic app. I don't see that. So see a way of doing that. Let's see. What would be the best way of doing that? Best way of getting that. I guess we're just gonna have to use the client secret and client, which I don't like it. I really don't like it. Let me see if there's another way of doing that. Because we want, it's okay to get it in the context of a user. Oh, that's the same example from here. I'm using client credentials, which is not what I want. Well, you know what? Maybe for now it's gonna use the Graph Explorer. Let's see. Oh, already. Use Postman. Let's go to the Graph Explorer first. That way we can see the the Excel in action. Let's go to Excel. And then let's go back to where we were with Excel. And we want to make sure the mana session, it's a non-persistent session. Okay, so we're going to create a session. In a non-persistent mode. So let's see how to create a session, an Excel session without persistence. Okay, so create session. So we could do the items ID from the drive, but I don't have. Maybe if I go like this, copy that, I just have to find the path. And that's a post. Sign in to use this method. Okay, I need to sign in. Hold on, while I am signing in. And then I need to find, I'm so sorry about this, I need to find my, I need to find the item path to my Excel file. And to do that, I'm gonna just open a browser window here. And you're not seeing on my screen, but I'm just trying to get my path to that Excel file that is it. And it turns out it's still not synchronized. That is strange. I'm having some problems with excuse me. I'm having some problems with the Excel file not being saved to my OneDrive. Let's see if I am able to save it. Basically what I'm gonna do, what I need to do is to find this path. And so I need to find that path in order to create a session for that workbook. I think this path, sources public. Oh, lowercase. And then my Excel file name. Business. All right. So hopefully it's saved. And my OneDrive just having a few issues trying to connect. Bear with me. I'm just waiting for my OneDrive to sync. And it's still not there. Well, maybe I can cheat a little bit. I'm gonna upload it manually to my OneDrive. Sorry about the wait. XLSX. And I love my already. Forgot to add XLSX. XLSX. Right. Woohoo! So that created a session. That's our session right there. I'm going to copy it somewhere so I don't lose it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to create a new tab here. And then I'm going to tell it that now that I have a session, what I need to be doing is on the subsequent ones, I need to specify a work session ID in the header. And let's see, write data to a workbook. Update at range. No, that's not what I want. That's Angular. I don't want that. Let's see. Excel. I have an example for Excel in here. So we're going to try to use that. But let me copy this. And then, oh, you know what? I forgot what I need to be doing with that. So when I create the session, oh, I forgot to do that, to set the parameter, because I want to set the parameter to not persist the changes. I have to tell it that a non-persistent session. So in here, I was supposed to, I guess, do this, false. And that'll be my session ID. The actual session ID 1. Copy that.